enlightened to my brothers and to picture the homeless. I'm grateful for the opportunity for them giving me the tools to fight homelessness, gentrification, and criminalization, because homelessness is not a pretty scene. You go through situations where you are not able to take care of yourself. As I said, if your money's not right, you definitely will be uptight. You will not have the monies to buy the necessary things like clothing, food, shelter, not somebody providing you with the shelter that they want you to have. And that's what warehousing is all about, especially in the shelter system. As a black woman, and I'm not trying to be funny, okay? As a black woman and as a woman, we are the lowest totem pole as far as poverty is concerned. And when you go into a system that puts you in a more impoverished situation, it's not a pretty sight. That's why I'm getting involved, have been involved, and will continue to be involved. I have no children, but I hope one day that I'll leave a legacy where my brothers and sisters will be able to have a home, because a home means a lot. It is your sanctuary. It is your peace of mind. It is your place where you can be able to sit down, educate, and understand where you're going and how you're going. And you can close the door and keep out certain individuals that you don't want to. Housing is a human right.
Amen.
We all need a place to lay our heads. Not a place, a home. Enlightened to the economical crisis that we have, Mayor Bloomberg laying people off of their jobs. Where do you go? One day somebody, and a lot of people will get a pink slip, and they might be out there looking for somewhere to lay their head, or somewhere where they can sit, or somewhere where they can have a peace of mind to keep them out from the outdoors. Housing is a human right, and I think it's very, very important. As I said, if your money's not right, you'll be uptight. Not some rich people trying to come in the city. I'm born and raised here, and I can't find a place to stay. It's something you must fight for. And my mother said, anything worth having is worth working for and fighting for. Thank you.
After going through a bout of homelessness in Miami, it was an awakening. The way I look at things and look at the homeless situation is a lot different than I probably would have looked at it prior through going through this bout of homelessness. I worked for about 13 years for a company, Automatic Data Processing, a large payroll company, which is a worldwide company. I worked as a project manager overseeing the installation of computer software. I moved down to Miami for a position in a new division at ADP had bought, and I was probably the most proficient person at using that piece of software in the world. I probably knew it better than anybody. But I suddenly found myself out of a job after moving down to Miami 4 months later. So it was a change, and it was sort of shock therapy for me. But your life has changed. Sometimes you go through something and you feel you have a different direction. I've gone through something. I don't look to go back to installing computer software. I can make a whole lot of money doing it and do it without having to work hard. But there is something that tells me that I need to work on fixing this situation called homelessness. So I've sort of dedicated my time to working with this organization and getting involved in a lot of stuff around the city to create housing for homeless and low-income people. And hopefully along with this organization, we'll be able to make some strides.
The whole point, Lynn alluded to this, is there are people who make a lot of money with the divide and conquer scheme. You may be the college student, lived on campus for 4 years, now you got a degree, no place to live and no job. You may be the displaced worker, you were making $85,000 last year, your unemployment insurance you got laid off, unemployment insurance just faded out. You may have been the sister who was incarcerated, you step out and now you're free and you're given a Metro card and maybe $30 and you have to find a place to live. This is the point that we are all facing the housing crisis. And there are people who would divvy you up. Oh no, your problem is different from hers. You really shouldn't be in the same meeting. No, you and him, no. There are people, and they make $750 million a year, somebody's making, playing that divide and conquer game. So part of what we have to understand is that the housing crisis is something that we all have to address. Because again, it's going back to the fundamentals. And July 4th, 1976, I attended a conference at Hunter College. And there was a sister there who was, I think, the daughter of the leader of the American Indian movement at the time. And she talked about her great-grandfather and how he laughed the first time a European showed up with a piece of paper that said, "I own this land." Huh? You didn't make the land, stupid. God made the land. You don't own the trees, you don't own the air, you don't own the land. And this was, I mean, for me that was an eye-opener, because the way that she said it, and she talked about her personal family experience. And that's something that, 30 years later, I'm still impacted by hearing that sister speak, because the land that we have is the land that we share, that we didn't create. And that's an important part. We're all part of this land. And again, people will divvy us up. Well, you're part of the AIDS crisis, you should be part of that movement. You're part of the gay crisis, you should be part of that movement. You're part of the civil rights, and people will divvy us up so that they can make money. As we unite, we give ourselves the power to take back what we need, which is the place that we have that was created for us by the God who made us all. So when we talk about us and them is we is us. Us. That we have a meeting on the 22nd for our allies, and we'll be meeting here. And what comes out of this, you should know, because the following day we're meeting with Christine Quinn. So we can use the support of as many allies as possible on the 22nd. And also, Joe has a clipboard. If you can invite any of the Picture the Homeless people to come to your organization, your church, your sorority, your organization, your block association, if you can invite any of our speakers to come to your group, we do teach-ins in that way so that people have a better understanding of what's happening now. So they understand what's happening with homelessness, where the crisis comes from, what some of the alternatives are for dealing with it. So 2 things you can do right away is show up. This is your invitation. Tell your friends about it. Our website, picturethehomeless.org. Send your friends there as well. Send them a little email link and tell them, check out what's happening here with homeless people in New York. Because we're unique in that our organization is run by people who are homeless or formerly homeless. Right up to our director, who was homeless. Which, there's some other charities out there, God bless them, but some of them, they haven't really experienced what homeless people have been through, so they come at it from a different point of view that may be either ignorant or paternalistic, or maybe a little bit of both, if they haven't been through what we're through. So this is the invitation, and please sign a clipboard for Joe if you'd like to have one of our people come and speak to your organization, share some of the information we have here, and there's a great deal more that we have that we didn't cover today.